Act 3. The Walkout. Your mind and body are beginning to reject the work you love. It's time to think about exiting. Are you prepared? Chapter 9. How do I retire? Fade in. Washington Marriott Wardman Park, Marriott Ballroom, Washington, D.C. Day. It's August of 2016, and Clem has been serving as the primary video projectionist for Carrie and her clients for several years. Clem has come a long way since first approaching Carrie back in 2011. Clem still loves his work, but the extensive traveling is taking a toll on Clem's marriage and home life. Clem finished his 15-season career with Fox Sports and the Orlando Magic in April of that year and is now exploring other opportunities. Clem wants to teach video projection, and this thought stays on his mind as he goes to work. Carrie has asked Clem to travel to DC to assist with the load-in for one of her events. Clem, knowing how much Carrie appreciates his work and dedication to a project, happily accepts. Clem has been working on a standard operating procedure for his skills as a video projectionist to include in his workbook and is now collecting photos for his PowerPoint presentation. Clem realized, after training his replacement for the NBA broadcast, how much information he possesses about his craft and wants to make sure it is available for people coming up in the industry behind him. Clem is in the ballroom directing his projection assistant, John Brewer, and a team of stagehands with the tasks that need to be completed. Clem's style of leadership is from an educational approach because he wants to ensure the local labor understands his needs and can effectively execute them.
Hey guys, let's unlit these projectors and place them in a row. I want to look at the lumens so I can balance my light output.
So, why do we need to do that?
Well, if I average out the light of the projectors, then I can maximize my brightness without one screen looking brighter than the other. Make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
The day goes on, and Clem is thoroughly enjoying his time working with John. He is hardworking, determined, very introspective, and reminds Clem a lot of himself. John poses for and takes a few of Clem's photos for his Projection 101 presentation.
So you're teaching a class on video projection?
Yep. So I realize that I have a lot of information that I've learned throughout my life and my career, and all of these things can help elevate someone else's career. You know, I guess I look at it like I've already retired as an independent contractor, and I know my mortality. You know, so when I die, I don't want everything that I've learned to kind of die with me. I know it sounds morbid, but it's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's kind of just realizing that there's so much that I can give, and when I transition, I don't want all that I've learned to die with me. And to me, that's Projection 101.
Can we keep in touch after the show?
Yeah, man, certainly.
At the height of my career, I spent most of my days hopping on planes, sleeping in hotels, and spending weeks at a time in cities all around the country. Virtually every week there were bright lights, scenic sights, music, shows, and fancy clothes that accompanied the corporate events I worked. Although it may sound exciting and adventurous, that wasn't where I needed to be. In fact, it was beginning to become clear to me that it wasn't where I wanted to be either. I was spreading myself too thin. I needed to make a change because my family needed me, and I needed them. By prioritizing my on-demand career above all, I had been chasing a rabbit I was never going to catch. I spent too many years trying to maintain two careers that I was unable to clearly see where I was headed or how my decisions were impacting my personal life. I thought quitting sports would change everything. Instead, the work in corporate events picked up, and I was gone just as much, if not more. How do I maintain a healthy balance? This was a question that haunted me. My family needed me, my business needed me, and I couldn't figure out how to balance the two. In fact, my entire life was imbalanced and had been for as long as I could remember. I grew up as an only child in a single-parent household, and spent a lot of my time in an environment that fostered and promoted the arts, creativity, and relationship building, all right brain processes. Structure, discipline, and rational traits, left side processes, weren't as encouraged. Therefore, I never properly developed those skill sets like I should have. I understand my mother did her best. As a single parent trying to manage her own life, find a new career, and raise a child, she had many obstacles to overcome and only so many hours in a day to do it. During my teenage years, we had our church, family, friends, and counselors who encouraged my mother and I through our situation. Because of their support and my understanding of the importance of talking through your problems, I had no hesitation seeking professional help when my life became too much to bear. Andre Ward and Becky Campbell helped me find my deficiencies and the source of my stress. They helped me see why I was having issues at home and how my wife was the balance I needed in my life. Because of Andre, Becky, and the numerous other people I had as role models, I began to see that my wife completed me. Just as Dorothy Boyd did for Jerry in the movie Jerry Maguire, my wife was the structure and discipline I needed. God brought her into my life to fill my voids. While working one of my favorite conventions, I learned about the Herman Brain Dominance Instrument method of whole brain thinking. I began to see where I was on the spectrum and what I needed. Although I wanted to freely float around the country doing shows, feeling accepted and validated for my work, and experiencing a natural high for what we were able to accomplish as a team, I needed a home base. I needed a place with family, friends, neighbors, activities, and a church. I needed a community my wife and kids were a part of, and one where we could grow as a unit. When I was on the road, I had that feeling with my team, but it didn't exist with my family. I understand a wife and kids aren't a part of everyone's balance. Sometimes it's other family members, friends, a church, or a hobby. Whatever it is, you need something that will pull you out of your business. Something that's greater than your trade, greater than your craft, but something that's not just a quick escape. You need something that grounds you. Stepping away helps you refocus your sight and refuel your energy for whatever lies on the journey ahead. I know too many people in my industry who go from job to job to job without a break. That is unhealthy, and most of all, unsustainable. From that imbalance come heightened stress, anxiety, short tempers, and an inability to provide your best service. Not to mention, that type of lifestyle damages the relationships left unattended while you are away. I've also seen how an imbalanced life affects one's health and eating habits. Obesity, diabetes, and other health conditions can develop and shorten your life expectancy. Worst of all, the stress of being too focused on your business can also impact the health of your relationships. I have witnessed numerous divorces, estranged parent-child relationships, and individual cases of depression among people in my industry. This isn't just about building a 1099 business. It's about building a lifestyle, a life. After I realigned my focus, my family became the refuge I longed for. My entire life I wanted love, affection, and acceptance. What I didn't realize as I spent years looking for those feelings in my work was that everything I craved was right in front of me. I couldn't see or recognize it because I had been so focused on my creativity and outside relationships that I couldn't see that the structure and discipline that my family provided was the ultimate love. My family's love was the framework that complemented my right brain thinking and built a healthy balance around me. In addition to spending time with my family, I thoroughly enjoy playing golf. Although people assume I love basketball because I'm 6'7", or 2.0066 meters tall, I much more appreciate the patience and beauty of this complicated sport. There's something about the projection aspect and internal drive of golf that sparks my interest and stimulates my mind. Not to mention, spending time on the course is an opportunity for open conversations and is a great way to get to know someone. We have even taken up golf as a family. My son and daughter both play, and we have incorporated the sport into our vacation itineraries. From a long-term perspective, I see this hobby as something I can do well into my latter years, and it can become a generational activity we can all play and enjoy. When I was a child, I didn't spend time doing things like that with my father or my grandparents. However, now that I have children of my own, I understand the importance of having that common ground. My wife and I have created and framed out a lifestyle we both agree on and we both prioritize. We understand that life isn't just for us. Rather, it's for our children and for our children's children. How do I stay physically fit? For too long, my job was my gym. It's sad to say, but it's true. Sitting on the court for 2+ hours with a 30-pound weight on my shoulder was my workout. It required a lot of core strength and endurance. It even felt like interval training when I sat on the hardwood surface and jumped up as soon as a timeout was called or a quarter ended. After I stopped shooting games, my workout became lifting cases and flipping projectors, another unhealthy regimen. On top of that, by traveling as much as I did, it was difficult maintaining a well-balanced diet and getting the amount of sleep my body required. I realized I needed to do better and treat myself with more respect. I needed to be in the gym, working out, and preparing for my days in the office. As we all know, we only get one mind and one body, and they will deteriorate if not cared for properly. I decided to get a personal trainer. I knew I needed structure and discipline, back to the left side of the brain, and a coach could provide that. I wanted someone who understood my lifestyle, my career, and could help me stick to a routine while I traveled. I discovered Henri Richer. Henri is an audiovisual technician who works events and travels just as much as I do. However, he has been disciplined enough to not only establish himself as a well-respected bodybuilder, he has also researched the health and fitness industry enough to become a personal fitness coach. We've since established a once-a-week training regimen where we meet and he teaches me new exercises and pushes me to go hard. I then take that information, go to my local gym, and continue our routine. If I'm traveling and on the road, I use the CLEMCO HR Total Body Workout Plan to stay consistent with my schedule. This program is a perfect mixture of exercises that allows me to get in and out of the hotel gym quickly, then down to the ballroom to start my workday. Working out not only gives me a sense of accomplishment, it also provides the discipline to eat a healthy diet. After pushing myself in the gym and seeing the results, it is very counterproductive to eat just anything without thinking about how it will affect my body and mind. I feel like I owe it to myself to be aware of my health and eating habits. If I'm not, Henri will remind me and make me pay for it later. What does retirement look like? As I got older, I began to think more and more about retirement and what I wanted those years to look like. I had to do a lot of soul searching because I wasn't sure what retirement would be for me. My mom retired from the IRS when I was 12 because she was on a mission to find herself. My dad retired from the military as a correction officer when he was 47, but quickly became lost without the structure and spent his days trying to occupy his time. My in-laws retired as teachers when my children were born because they wanted the flexibility to play an active role in their grandchildren's lives. But what about me? What did I want? I didn't know. When I began to define my retirement, I began to think about my expenses and how much I needed both monthly and yearly to pay my bills. I then began to consider the cushion I needed for unexpected expenses. From this, I created a budget using all the skills I had developed running my independent contractor business. Then I started budgeting for the extras. After adding up all the things I needed to pay for, I began to think about the things I wanted to pay for. What do I want to do in my free time? Besides golf, I enjoy concerts and plays, traveling, and taking my family on adventures. I had to create a budget for those things too. I have my fixed expenses, which will be minimized once we pay off our home and the kids have left for college, and I also have my leisure allocations. By sticking to that budget, I know I will have enough saved for future endeavors. It took me a long time to get to this kind of forecast thinking. Growing up in Miami, the clothes you had, the car you drove, the rims on your ride, the speakers in your trunk, those were the true measures of success. That's how you knew you made it, at least in the world where I grew up. As I matured and learned from the professionals around me, I began to see money and purchases differently. I could look forward to things other than what was in my closet and driveway. Now with the money I earn, I can set some aside for savings. My financial planner can invest that money today, allow it to grow, and I can spend it tomorrow. In 15 or so years, I will have enough money sitting in my portfolio that I will generate Swiss income. Sales while I sleep soundly. To me, that's the easiest and most exciting way to earn money. That's something my friend and mentor Kevin Carr taught me. When he retired from the NBA as the Vice President of Social Responsibility and Player Programs, he had a financial plan in place. Thanks to his guidance and that of so many others, I began to see how retirement from a business perspective could look. How do I know the right time to stop working? I'm reminded of the Sean, Puff Daddy, Diddy, P. Diddy, Bad Boy Combs saying, "Can't stop, won't stop." That mantra reflects the heart of a grinder, a hustler, a by any means necessary type person. I was that person. I am that person. It's hard to see an idea or vision and not want to see it come to fruition, especially when you spend your career building other people's visions and finally have a chance to build your own. When you know it's possible and not that difficult with the right team of people, it's a euphoric feeling. However, you will eventually need to stop. You will need to rest and take time to enjoy all you have worked so hard to achieve. I needed to stop, and I needed to rest. My life was passing me by. I allowed things to move so fast, and I was missing out. I had the ability and flexibility to control my schedule, but I didn't know how to stop grinding. I needed to get over my catch-22 fear that pausing and resting would set me back. My work spoke for itself. I had spent decades building my reputation and brand, and I needed to trust that the right clients and opportunities would continue to come along. The shows will be there, the money will be there, and my budget and financial cushion will support me. More importantly, when the jobs aren't coming in as I want them to, I have to accept that God has another plan for me at that time. I just need to be open and listen. It took a while for me to get there, but I learned there is a comfort in giving up control. There's comfort in letting someone else take the wheel of your finances, budget, retirement strategies, etc. Especially when they know where they're going. If they've successfully navigated the path for themselves or others, then guiding you to your oasis should be a walk in the park. I take comfort in knowing that I will be financially set when it's my time to retire. I have found those trusted advisors, and we have made the right decisions to plan for my long-term success. I also enjoy knowing that I've laid the groundwork for those who are coming up in the industry behind me. People like John Brewer, Jonathan Draper, and Johnny Dazzle-Me can use my outline and infrastructure to be successful in their career and life. My knowledge and understanding is intentionally being passed on to the people and an industry who mean so much to me. I know you all will continue moving forward and in turn help others. That's what it's all about, letting go to let others grow. How do I mentally prepare for retirement? I watched in awe as Mariano Rivera announced his retirement from the New York Yankees at the beginning of the 2012-2013 season. Every team he played that year honored him with a gift and a small ceremony for his 19 seasons in Major League Baseball. Rivera was well respected and shown so much appreciation for his contributions to his organization and the league overall. On September 26th of 2013, Mariano Rivera's cycle was complete, and it was time for the hero to journey home. Unlike being fired or laid off, one can see retirement coming and embrace the transition. The summer after my 14th season with the Magic, I realized that every game felt more and more like work. I began my internship on September 17, 2001, but during the summer of 2015, I knew I was done being camera 3. Over the years, I made so many friends and had so many wonderful memories, but I had checked out mentally. My wife suggested I call it quits and not return the next season, but I knew that wouldn't work for me. I needed to leave on my terms, gracefully. Like Rivera had done a couple of years earlier, I needed to leave with the opportunity to say goodbye and have one last great season. I felt like I needed to complete one last cycle. I needed to see all of the teams and players that were respected in the NBA and say goodbye. I wanted to see LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat, Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs, and Dwight Howard and the Houston Rockets. I also wanted to see Monty Williams in the Oklahoma City Thunder. When I was an intern for the Magic, Monty was a player on the team. I respected him then and continue to respect him as the associate head coach for the Thunder. A year after I left the NBA, I saw Monty in the Atlanta airport. I walked right past him as he sat at the gate by himself, but quickly turned around because there was something I had to do. I had to tell Coach Williams that for the 15 years I watched him play and lead his team, I had grown to admire the man he showed himself to be. I had to tell Coach Williams I considered him a role model and appreciated all he had done. He had made a difference in my life, and I wanted him to know. My last game was on April 11th, 2016, and we all celebrated as the Orlando Magic defeated the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a great feeling, ending my career with a W. As we wrapped the Fox telecast, the broadcasters said some kind words about me and thanked me for my 15 years of service. It brought tears to my eyes and showed me that I wasn't prepared for the emotional side of walking off the court one last time. I'm not sure anyone can truly prepare for that final goodbye. I loved my broadcast team because we gave everything we had to the Orlando Magic organization and the viewers of the NBA telecast. We celebrated the wins and endured the heartaches together. We were a family, and I was going to miss them all. Through that love, care, and dedication, I had grown in my service and abilities. Now it was time to redirect my focus elsewhere. I needed to build the other sides of my business, all while balancing them with much-needed family time. How do I find new purpose in my retirement? Go back to the beginning and look at your why for being in this industry. Those answers will guide you in what you do after you leave this field. In order to understand a new purpose, you need to understand your purpose from the beginning. Why are you here? To simplify it a bit, why were you there in that moment in time? Prior to your retirement, what purpose did you serve? Don't necessarily look at things from a task perspective, but from a big picture and a granular one at the same time. What impact did you make in your career? What impact did you make in your department? What impact did you make in your position? What impact did you make on an event? And finally, what impact did you make on one individual's life? Marinate on that for a moment, particularly the last one. What impact did you make on one individual's life? One single person? Think about some of the most influential people today and in history. They all have one thing in common. Each had a person, interaction, and/or experience that changed the trajectory of his or her entire life. That moment then sparked another moment, and another, and another, eventually allowing each to reach his or her full potential. That event has been given so many names over time, from the butterfly or domino effect to allspark. Either way, it's real. I look back at my grandfather's immigration to the United States from Trinidad, then to my mother and father's failed relationship, and on the birth of my two beautiful children to help me understand why I'm sitting here writing this book. My past helps me understand my present, which allows me to create my future. Based on the situations that occurred, my understanding of them, and my reactions to them, I can shape my life and influence the lives of others. You too have the power to shape life, and have been doing it either consciously or subconsciously. In your retirement, you can look back over your life and determine if you were happy with the way you've shaped or influenced someone's world and ultimately that person's universe. If not, make that your purpose going forward. It will be far more rewarding than any accolade or paycheck. I am in the second generation of the rental and staging corporate events sector of the live events production industry. My mentors and teachers are the pioneers who started this roller coaster of a ride. It's crazy to think we are that young as an industry, yet have come so far in such a short amount of time. That being said, if I were to break down the lifespan of the industry thus far, it would be similar to how I've structured the acts in this book. Act 1, the walk-in. Act 2, the show. And Act 3, the walkout. When I was beginning my walk into this industry, my predecessors were in their show. They were hustling, grinding, and creating a process for on-site success. It was working. Many of them started as full-time employees of Disney or similar hotel operations, and some even became independent contractors. All in all, they were getting it done. What wasn't happening, however, was the establishment of a framework for an individual's long-term off-site success. The demand and rapid growth of the industry was putting a strain on the audiovisual technicians currently in their show, and certain bad habits were being passed along to the young and influential technicians walking in. On top of that, no one had yet walked out. The realization of that was a key moment for me. Every other industry has a retirement plan, or at least someone who had done it and could lead the way. I couldn't say the same for us. So I asked myself, what should I do? Should I maintain the status quo and continue to struggle? Should I flounder around after my retirement as an independent contractor from Fox Sports, the Orlando Magic, and the NBA? No. I got up, re-engineered my situation, found the help I needed, and created what's needed for my industry, my people. That's what this book is, a labor of love designed to help those who are just walking in or those who are standing on the stage of their prospective show. I'm sharing my knowledge and my experiences in the hope that they will help you project your best image possible. If you are that person, if this book connected with you, write to me at CLEMCOHR.com and share your story. One by one, we can pay it forward and make a difference.
We're going to flash forward to CLEMCO HR, the collective of service providers brought together to coach, lead, educate, and mentor independent contractors in the area of human resources and long-term success. Understanding what I needed and could have used when I started my career as an independent contractor in 2002, I decided to not only get it for myself, but to create opportunities for others. That's the beauty about opportunity. You have the right to take it, but you also have the right to let it pass you by. For me, I choose to take it, not only for myself, but for you. Projection 101.